first things first with former head coach Eric Mangini. Coach, good morning. Nice to have you with us. We got to talk about this report that dropped yesterday. According to Fansided, Aaron Rodgers, quote, wants years off his deal so he can pull a Tom Brady and be the next guy to try to go elsewhere and win a championship. Rodgers reportedly turned down an offer from the Packers this offseason that would have made him the highest paid player in the NFL. Is it so that he could follow in the path of Tom Brady? They both obviously have great hair. Not important now. Brandon, though, I'm going to start with you. Is it a good or bad idea for Rodgers to follow Brady's footsteps and attempt to leave the Green Bay Packers?
Well, I feel like it's a bad idea to start with me. I miss Coach. We haven't had Coach on in a couple of months, it feels like. You know, Coach got a little tan going on, skin popping, looking phenomenal. Missed you, Coach. Yeah. But look.
Hot Coach Summer, baby.
Yeah, missed you, Coach. Welcome back. Yes, Coach Summer.
Hey, he said Hot Coach Summer. Isolate that audio and put it on the internet, please. Go ahead. Go ahead,
That's
Brandon.
What he said. Oh, I missed
That's
that.
the greatest moment of the show. That's what it said. Yeah. Go ahead, Brandon. Sorry.
Listen, I think this is two different conversations. We're talking about Aaron Rodgers wanting to leave and also Aaron Rodgers trying to be the next Tom Brady to go on and win a Super Bowl somewhere else. No, Aaron Rodgers wants to leave because he's no longer happy in Green Bay for whatever reasons. Brian Gutekunst, other things, other people. We don't know because we haven't heard from Aaron yet, but we do know that he's unhappy there. Now, as far as going to win a championship, like that's just what these great quarterbacks and these great competitors want to do. They just want the best opportunity to win. I remember some of the greatest coaches like Mike Shanahan and Lovie Smith and so many other coaches that I had used to always say, you know what, Bill Parcells, great players, all they want is an opportunity to compete. So Aaron Rodgers has been there for 16 years, and you have one Super Bowl out of Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers should have multiple rings, and he doesn't. So I think Aaron Rodgers wants years off his contract just so he can be in a better position to move on. So he doesn't have to go through the drama in the offseason, Coach, where it's like, I need to demand a trade. I want to move on. And then you have to do the dance where the team's like, well, we can't let you go because we love you. We can't let you go because it'll be a PR nightmare for us. So Aaron Rodgers wants those years off so he can move on amicably. That's what he wants. And clean that up for me right there.
Well, it's really, we can't. If you're Aaron Rodgers, it's the best deal in the world. Yeah, I want years off my contract. I don't want to play for the 2 years where it's the best value for the team. Why would I want to do that? I can become an unrestricted free agent after the next year and get a ridiculously big contract based off of the resetting of the market. I get to choose where I go. I get to have probably more control in whatever organization I go to. Yeah, for Aaron Rodgers, it's a fantastic deal. It's a fantastic idea, but I don't know why Green Bay would do it. It makes no sense from an organizational standpoint for them to take 2 years off of his deal, make him a free agent the next year, not get anything in terms of draft compensation, and then have the potential of him going somewhere where you're going to have to deal with him twice a year, or you're going to have to deal with him, within the conference. It's perfect for Aaron. I get why he wants it. It makes no sense for Green Bay.
Right.
Yeah, listen, with respect to the Fansided report and the reporter who wrote the articles, a good NFL reporter, so I'm not objecting to the reporting, but it's a 0% chance that Green Bay's like, you know what, rip up the contract. Like, there are a lot of things that could happen after this year. They might let Aaron pick his destination as if he were a free agent. But that's the best he's going to do, because even in that, they will get something in return. They will get draft pick compensation in return and substantial draft pick compensation in return. But I want to ask Coach a question, which is how many, it's going to be tough off the top of your head, I understand, but how many situations could Aaron Rodgers go to that would actually give him a better chance to win? I don't think it's 0.
That's right.
But I also don't think it's 9. I think there's only when we were talking about Russell Wilson potentially being traded, and there were those teams like, hey, could go to the Broncos. It's like, really? Like, okay, have fun. The Raiders, like, all right, they've been above 500 once in 15 years. Okay, like there are the Bears, like, oh. All right, you're not in a better position to win in any of those places. Now, I'm not trying to act like Green Bay, coach, is the best team in the league absent the quarterback. But what is it, 3 teams, 4 teams that he walks into and has a better chance to accomplish his goal of winning a Super Bowl than the one he's in right now?
Yeah, I'd say it's a pretty small minority. He changes the equation wherever he walks into, because of how good he is. But does he really want to go to some of those situations? I think New England would be a better situation from a team perspective if you wanted to go there. But if part of your issue is you don't have any control over personnel, well, that's not going to work out. Maybe New Orleans could be a good spot for him, but
they got no money.
Are you going to have that much more control in that organization than you did in Green Bay? Oftentimes, there's this perception that things are better somewhere else because you heard from a buddy that they do things a little bit differently at practice, whatever the case may be. But we all know the reality is whenever you go to a new workspace or new environment, there's good things and bad things that you're going to have to deal with. You just don't know what they are. You have a perception of what they are.
Yeah, here's my problem, and I'll throw this to Brandon, because we have seen just recently, we saw Jerry Jones saying, I would do anything in the world to win a Super Bowl. And we talk, Brandon, you do a great job talking about the rigors that you have to put through mentally and physically to get to peak performance. And we've heard guys like, cut my finger off, I'm not missing the Super Bowl, etc. Like Aaron Rodgers, what are you willing to go through to get to the next Super Bowl, considering you could have gone like, you're gonna cut your finger off? Are you gonna run through a pathway of glass? Like, no, I'm not. I got an annoying guy at work. I got a guy at work that's really bothersome. Like, that's it? That's all you got to do to put yourself in a position to win a Super Bowl? It just seems like lots of players would change positions with Aaron Rodgers if that's all it was, that you got to deal with an annoying guy at work. And maybe I'm selling it short, that like, no, disrespect, and it's something about the core values because you traded one of my favorite wide receivers to the Bills and he ended up not playing that much. Maybe that's it. But to me, this still doesn't seem like a situation that's unsolvable. And he was in the NFC Championship game. He was a scamper touchdown away from going to the Super Bowl. It's not like there's this huge gulf. It feels like it should still be resolvable.
Yeah, listen, it comes down to philosophy and ego, Wild. So on the philosophy side, you got to think about this. Aaron Rodgers has been there for 16 years. And the Green Bay Packers philosophy has always been, let's build from within. Let's build from within the draft. They don't go out there and make big splashes in free agency. Every once in a while, they may go get a guy. You go back in the day, they went back and got Charles Woodson on a deal. You know, they went out there and got Julius Peppers on a deal. You know, they paid him a little bit, but we're talking about the splash free agents. They don't do that. You have Aaron Rodgers, so that mentality, it's also with the team. Go do whatever you have to do to take advantage of that window. And some teams lean into the free agency world. Some teams lean into, let's build from within. And both have been successful. Now, the ego comes in, Nick, because you have Aaron Rodgers, this guy, year after year, have you as a contender. He has you, in the playoffs. This dude is next level quarterback, okay? Top 5 of all time in my book. Yeah. And you go draft a quarterback, you year after year go draft somebody on defense or a guy that can't help you right now. So the ego comes to play, and that's where Brian Gutekunst came in with that mentality. Go ahead. Yeah. No, it's ego and it's disrespect. It's a lot. To me, while I thought Wild's comment was very entertaining, I think it's underselling it a bit. And people are going to get mad at me, I suppose, when I say this. But here's the other thing. If you're the Green Bay Packers,
and you have one of the 10 most famous athletes in America in your employ, you always got to do a little extra because you're in Green Bay. And you can be like, Brett Favre was there and was happy. Yeah. And when he retired, Brett Favre moved to a ranch in Mississippi. He's a different cat. Aaron Rodgers is a super famous celebrity, and part of his sacrifice, you know what part of his running through glass is, Wilds? Trudging through snow in a town of 800 to go to work 6 months a year. No, that's
Appleton, Wisconsin. They got a Holiday Inn.
Okay.
I'm not buying that.
So
Hey,
hard.
Wilds,
So
hold
hard.
on. Okay.
How do you deal with
wait,
it? So
all right,
hard.
hold on a second. Wait a second. I want to ask, Coach, meanwhile, by the way, broadcasting from a beautiful palatial coastal estate right now, because where you live matters in your off season. And Wilds,
And I coached
let me
in a lot
ask
of
you
really
a
cold
question.
places.
Yeah, you did. And Coach, you know that I believe you are a underrated defensive coordinator and coach. But you also, I think it's fair to say, were not the Aaron Rodgers of coaches. You were not the top 5 coach of all time where you can necessarily have your pick. But I want to ask why.